Welcome to Straddle Income. We're here to help you make money. Today is December 14th, 2020. Today we'll start by looking at the overall market performance and some of the trades that I did. And lastly, we will talk about the company, featured company, Palantir. I know the company is being a buzzword for a lot of people, so I want to make sure everyone has a good understanding about the company, what they do, what the products they sell, what the revenues, and so on and so forth. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. Talk about the market. Today's market, let's start by looking at the QQQ. This is the daily, a 15-minute chart for the QQQ, and you're looking at from Monday, the session starts. So it's a really quite a powerful run in the morning. Then it kind of dies down a little bit towards the middle of the day. But then there's a kind of a big sell-off towards the end of the session. So this is the part where things can be a little bit tricky. So I'll definitely take a close look of the market when it first opened tomorrow morning. This is not a good sign, but if you take a step back and look at the daily chart, it still stays above the 18-day moving average. So it's a mixed signal. The bounce back from the Friday was definitely a good sign, but the sell-off towards the end of the day is something to be worried about. Similarly, it goes for the SPY. Let's look at SPY performance. This is, again, the 15-minute chart for SPY, and you can see from this chart, things definitely gets much more uglier towards the end of the session. There's a lot of selling towards the end of the session in the last 15 minutes. So this is something definitely worth noting tomorrow morning. Even though it kind of stayed within those two bands, but the fact that it kind of dropped out a little bit, it really worries me. So with that being said, the daily chart, if you take a closer look at the daily chart, it is right above the 18-day moving average. So again, when the session opens tomorrow morning, we will definitely take a close look at how the entire market performs. With that being said, let's look at some trades that I did today. Today, I didn't do too many trades. There are a couple of things. I bought a Disney weekly call. Disney had a good run last Friday because the fact that they're putting a lot of their content on the Disney Plus, and in essence, transforming the company from a traditional entertainment company to a more focused technology company. So that's why I have some Disney position, but in the meantime, I want to add a little bit more on that positions. So I did a small one on a Disney call, and then expiring 18th, two very small contracts to keep myself in the game. In the meantime, there was a sell-off during the middle of the session about all the travel stock are being hammered. So I bought an AAL put. Again, this is it's a January 15th. So additionally, I bought a Dropbox share. Dropbox is an interesting story. Dropbox had a run on Friday because there was a rumor it's being one of the acquisition target. The fact that Salesforce bought the Slack, and Dropbox is one of another company that's being in the target for a lot of other big players. So I don't want to mention the names. I don't think anything has been confirmed yet, but that's why Dropbox on Friday had a huge run, and then today it kind of extended a little bit. So towards the middle of the session, I bought some shares of Dropbox. And if we look at the extended hour, there's something happening towards the after hour. This is the Dropbox extended hour chart around 4 p.m. when the market closed Eastern time. Share jumped a little bit towards 5:15. That's about 2 o'clock in the Pacific time. And it kind of jumped from the 23, the historical resistance, to 23.70, 80. So that's that's an interesting jump. So tomorrow I will take a look at Dropbox. Again, I just bought a small number of shares to put myself in the game. With that being said, tomorrow I'll definitely look at the Dropbox. I'll look at the Disney for sure, and the AAL. Those are the weekly and the monthly puts. In addition, I'll be looking at the overall market very closely. As I mentioned, the overall market SPY and the QQQ, they're both, had a big sell-off towards the end of the session. So that's something to be noticed about. Next, I want to introduce a new section in this video. This is about a company introduction. So I think, personally, I'm a big believer of looking at the charts and also, more importantly, looking at the company itself. What does the company do? What kind of products do they sell? What are the revenue streams? What are the clients? And what are the strengths and the weaknesses? So on and so forth. So I know a lot of people here are very familiar with this company, Palantir, that got IPO'd recently. So I kind of want to start the session, this new section of a company introduction by talking about Palantir. So I hope this information is helpful. If you like it, make sure to click the like button and subscribe. And I will see if I try to do that continuously in the future to see if there's any interest on that. So let's first look at a Palantir company. Palantir is a company founded in 2003. It's a company it's about data aggregation and provide data to organizations so that they can visualize and take action on. So basically, if you know anything about the data, the data are in different departments. For example, they're scattered around. Some of the data is in the HR department. Some of the data is in the operation department. So to be able to link all the data together within a bigger company has been a tremendous task. And not only that, and to be able to make any insights out of those data is even more challenging. So Palantir started the company in 2003, and its first product, it's called a Gotham, which is a very interesting name, the Batman Gotham character. That product started about 2008, and its clients are mostly governments. They provide Gotham product to CIA and other government agencies to be able to link individual data to identify any kind of suspicious activities. And then lately, in 2016, the company branched out to sell more of those products into the commercial space. I think the name of the product is called a Foundry. And about recently, when they first IPO'd, they have about 125 customers, and that their revenue stream is evenly split between the commercial and the government. So it's quite an interesting story that they started with the government sector first, then jump into the commercial space. And if you look at their financials, from 2017, 18, and 2019, you definitely can see that the revenue has been increasing, but the net income is about, similar level in terms of loss. And if you zoom in a little bit, look at the quarter by quarter performance, definitely quarter 4 last year and quarter 2 this year has been, giving some good cushions, but then this quarter 3, 2020, there's a big jump here in terms of the net income loss. So it will be interesting to see what is actually happening here. I wouldn't worry too much about it. It's an IPO company. The fact that they IPO'd towards the end of the quarter 3, beginning of the quarter 4 with this kind of performance, I think that's what it's quite typical for a lot of the companies. With that being said, Palantir has been one of the stocks that a lot of people are interested in, not only by individuals, but also by institutionals. If you look at the institutional buyings, a lot of those institutions are start buying this stock. They're increasing their size of the position. The big ones are BlackRock, Canada Pension Plan Investment. And this is not a guarantee of the success of the stock. So making sure you do your own due diligence before you trade anything. But here's some kind of signals to be referenced about. Again, as an individual retail investor, you wanted to be nimble. You wanted to be able to quickly identify what are the trends other big companies, fund institutions are buying. So you can hopefully get some kind of profit by following them. So that's a quick overview about Palantir technologies. Let me know if you have any questions. Making sure to leave the comments, and I'll try to reply. And also let me know if this kind of section talking about a company is helpful for you guys. And I will continue to do that in the future. So with that being said, I'll see you tomorrow.